You ever just stop and think about why everything doesn't just fall apart? I mean, our world is packed with incredibly complex machines, but most of the time, they just work. And that is no accident. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden system that makes it all possible: equipment reliability. Yeah, let's start right there with that simple thought. For the most part, the things that power our lives, from giant power plants all the way down to your coffee maker, they just work. But why? What's the secret? Now, seriously, think about your car. You hop in, turn the key, and it just starts. You flip a switch, the lights come on, day after day. We totally take that for granted, right? But how does that actually happen?
Well, I can tell you it is not magic, and it is definitely not just luck. It's a system, a really smart, deliberate system that's designed to keep everything running just the way it should.
And that system has a name: equipment reliability. It's basically the whole world that maintenance and reliability pros, we call them M&R professionals for short, live and breathe. Their entire job, their whole mission, is to make sure the stuff we all depend on works when we need it to. So, how do they pull that off? This whole field sounds super complicated, but it actually boils down to just two main things, two fundamental activities that make everything else work. You can think of them like two giant pillars holding the whole thing up. Pillar number one is to assess reality, which is all about figuring out what's really going on. And pillar number two is to apply action. In other words, actually doing something about it. So let's dig into that first one. All right, pillar one, assess reality. This all starts with one simple but incredibly important question. What's the situation on the ground right now? I mean, you can't make good decisions if you're just guessing in the dark, right? So this first activity is all about gathering intelligence. You have to figure out what a machine is actually capable of at this very moment, and maybe more importantly, where its weak spots are. To do that, the pros look at a few key things. There's reliability. That's basically how long will this thing run before it fails. Then availability. When I need it, is it actually ready to go? Maintainability is a big one. How quick and easy is it to fix when it does break? And finally, criticality. This one is huge. It asks, if this thing fails, is it a small problem or is it a complete catastrophe? So to bring it back to our car, this whole assessment phase, it's like when a mechanic hooks your car up to that diagnostic computer. They're not grabbing any wrenches yet. They're just reading the data, checking the levels, and getting the full, real picture of what's going on under the hood. Okay, so once you have that crystal clear diagnosis, what do? Well, that leads us straight into pillar two, apply action. This is where the rubber meets the road. You take all that information from your assessment and you use it to choose the absolute best maintenance practice for the job. See, it's all about being strategic and proactive, not just waiting around for something to break. And the process itself is just plain logical. First, you select the right move to make. Then you apply that practice and get the work done. And the result? The equipment should be back to delivering its intended capabilities, doing exactly what it was built for. And in our car analogy, this is the part where the mechanic rolls up their sleeves and gets to work. They've done the diagnosis, they know what needs to happen, and now they're actually performing the oil change or rotating the tires. This is the hands-on part. So, there you have it, our two pillars: assess and act. But what's the big picture? When you put them together, what's the real payoff here? Well, when you combine a clear assessment with the right action, what you get is a world that, well, works. And it's not a one-time thing. It's a powerful, continuous loop. You assess, you act, you see what happens, and you assess all over again. It's that constant cycle that keeps everything running smoothly. But what's the ultimate end goal of all this? This quote just nails it. The point is to make sure our machines deliver what they're supposed to, but to do it in the safest and most cost-effective way possible. It's about hitting that perfect balance of performance, safety, and efficiency. And that is the invisible system that's all around us every single day. It's what keeps airplanes in the sky, power grids online, and clean water flowing from your tap. It's this quiet, constant process of assessment and action that's absolutely fundamental to our safety and, honestly, to our entire modern way of life. So, next time you use something that just works perfectly, take a second. What's the most reliable thing that you own? And now that you know a little bit about this whole cycle of assessment and action, can you guess why it's so dependable? Something to think about.